Okay, you ready? Let's do this thing. So now for our next tutorial, we're going to look at shiny things. And shiny things are they look impressive. They look hard, right? So that's why they look impressive. But they're really not that hard because the objects themselves are just objects, whether they're really complex or whether they're kind of simple. And then what the shininess is really is just the texture. And there's a couple of different ways that you can approach that. First off is you just see that you can see me over there. Hi, everybody. And is that it's just a picture in a picture. Okay. So, all right, that's easy enough. And then the other thing is that all these odd little dark things, they are actually pictures as well, right? But, they're so distorted that you can't really tell that they're pictures. And so you just have to think about them as areas of shapes created by values. And if you think like an artist, then you can draw like an artist, I guess. Okay, so the first thing is like anything else, we got to just go ahead and do a really quick draw here to kind of figure out where we're going with the stuff. So quickly, sort of nice and light, just mapping out where you think stuff would be nice and light. And I often wish that the way that I film these tutorials, that creates sort of I have to do it up. So it's an uncomfortable hand position. So you could do it even lighter, right? But nice and light and loose and just kind of trying to get things about where they go. That's the most important thing. Now, of course, I'm looking at it in real life. You are looking at it on a video, and they're going to be a little bit different. And that's one of the reasons why I go for this observational drawing is because um, the camera will distort. It gives you a different picture. You can see like right away, like in the camera, this is sort of like at this skewed angle. Well, of course, it's not doing that in real life, right? In real life, it's more like straight up and down, right? Okay. So, when I'm drawing it, it's going to look a lot more, well, straight up and down. Okay. So I've got my sort of basic rough shapes in. And it took me like almost no time at all, right? That's what you want. And then, of course, you want to look for your angles, your measurements, and your relationships. Okay. So, for instance, just looking at the angle, okay, how is this spoon coming in? How's my spoon coming in? Okay, looks okay. The angle on the elephant here, here's sort of like the back of the elephant. Here's my back of the elephant. It could actually go up a little bit, I think. A little bit. Okay. And, just different things. Maybe the angle that goes between the elephant and the top of this candle. Is that working? Yeah, it's working pretty good. Once again, the this is a little skewed, and so that's working for me. Okay, so if I've got all my angles are good, then I might look for some of the relationships and say like, well, what's lining up with what? Is the bottom rung on this candle right here, it's about the same level as the elephant, for instance. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. The trunk is about halfway through the spoon, and it really kind of lines up with the spoon. If you follow the angle of the spoon all the way through the middle, it lines up with the top of the trunk. Does mine? Yeah, sure, good enough. Okay. And the more you do this, kind of like the more you'll get it right off the bat. All right, so I've got my shapes in there and everything's looking good. I might measure, how tall is the elephant versus the candlestick, and that should kind of like line up with my angles. Okay, so if everything's good, then everything will sort of reinforce itself. All right, enough of that. So let's get down to the drawing. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to sort of reinforce some of these shapes a little bit. I've got my basic shapes just sort of firmed up. Try not to go, too dark on anything, that's for sure. And then what I can do is I can start mapping out where the different values are. So let's say up in here, there's a big patch, like where the elephant's head is. So like the big things, go big first. That's sort of one thing that I've found in art is that if you just sort of start general and then work your way more towards specifics, right? And then the other thing too is that if I don't get every little area just exactly right, that's okay, because remember, it is a texture. And so we've got this here, how this comes around. And I can see me. Hey, me. There's a little picture of me right there. Wearing my red shirt, red Spartan shirt. And we have the whole distortion around this area here. So this looks like a lovely place. I was going to say for an edit, but wait a minute. Hey, here's me. I'm going to do me real quick. So we've got this bright spot here where it's reflecting the table. Okay, and so then here's me. And I'm going to be something like, I think my head's right about here. Something like that. And my shoulders, and my other shoulder, and my hair. Glad I still have it. And here's the room. It comes down here. This is cool. This is like, reminds me, there's an artist, famous artist, MC Escher. And so, who knows? Maybe we'll take a look at him in our classes and see what he's doing. But he does a lot of stuff like this, or did a lot of stuff like this, I should say. He's long since gone. Oh, and then right over here, here's my camera. This is actually the thing I'm recording stuff on. Oh, maybe some of the stuff I might just eliminate. You can do that. As old Bob Ross would say, it's your world. Do what you want with it. I don't know if he said exactly that, but something like it. Or he'd say, it's your world. It's your world. Okay, so there's kind of, me in there, and then here's a reflection of something. Maybe the cabinets or the boards or something over here. And I've got kind of mapped out where the really super light spots are going to be. And I got to protect those because the best thing is to never get them dirty at all. That's the best if you can. Then here for the elephant. Because you can erase, and that's cool. Draw light, so you can erase. But keeping your paper like really pristinely clean, that's really helpful. Because that's as white as you get when you're drawing. White of the paper, that's it. Alright. That was cool. It's almost looking shiny already. Okay, and so like I was saying, I included various things because with the elephant, you could really see how, except for like maybe a little picture of me right over here, it's all sort of these different form shapes. And with the spoon, it's like definitely a picture, just a really distorted picture. And then now I'm going to move over here to the candle holder where you see we don't see any pictures at all. It's just images. And this one is shiny and it's reflective, but it's not as shiny and reflective. And then basically I've kind of made myself a little coloring book page is what I've done by just mapping out these values. Right? Sort of mapped out the values. Then it's going to be easy after that just to follow along with what's going on. Okay, and that's kind of it right there already. You see, so hopefully you can see that a little bit in the video. I know it's hard with pencil, but you can see. So each one of these areas is sort of a value area. And so now I just have to color them in the relative values of dark, medium, and light. So I think it's good to start where it's kind of clear, where I see like really dark areas. Go for it. Just a jumbled mess over here, like down here. Just a jumbled mess. So you know what? I'm not going to worry about getting it perfect. Now when you're doing your sketchbooks, if you wanted to use a charcoal pencil or charcoal of some kind or another, then I'm good with that. That'd be wonderful. And here we got, ooh, You don't even really almost see this edge right here. I wonder how will I handle that? Maybe we'll just go with value. Really light. Anyways, but I was saying with charcoal, you get a nice blacker black. Okay, so we'll just a little soft edge because that's really super subtle, isn't it? Right here, it kind of disappears between the reflection of the thing and the thing itself, and Okay. I would say that by far the elephant was the most complicated, so, got through that pretty good. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on the spoon. The elephant, the thing that's, a little bit confusing about that is that it's so many of those value shapes that are just kind of making things up, right? Nothing really concrete to hang your head on, so to speak. But in the spoon, kind of easier because it's just basically a distorted picture of, well, me and the room around me. Okay, so now finally the candle holder here. It it has sort of a darker value overall. So one thing I could do right off the bat, I could put a little bit of value everywhere. And in doing that, I'm kind of just doing a lot of the grunt work just to fill it in. I'm also, though, making sure that everything is of a darker value. Now, fortunately, for the most part, the lines that I put in, my guidelines, are also going to darken up, so I'm not going to lose those. If I hit some areas where I think that there's going to be a highlight, I could avoid those areas, try and keep them as clean as possible. But here I'll have sort of a base amount of value. So I'm going to start with sort of a medium to medium light-ish, and then I can just go from there instead of having everything be white or super light right off the bat. So that's about it, little subtle things like a little bit more eraser on the candlestick, because it's softer, the highlights are softer on it, so a little bit more use of the eraser. Maybe if I needed to, I could sort of adjust some of the values here and there on things. And, is it perfect? It probably isn't perfect, but it's going to be an accurate sort of recording of what you see, get it close. And yeah, honestly, this was kind of a long drawing for me. I probably spent, close to an hour and a half on it, maybe a little bit less. But remember, you only have to do one thing. I did three. So you only have to do one, and that's going to cut it down quite a bit. And, if yours isn't quite as accurate as mine, I'm not even sure how accurate mine is, then that's okay. Just try your best. Okay, so the next thing is transparency. Oh, that one must be hard, right? No, it's not that hard. Just break it down.